What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is going to be a review for Marrying Millions, Season 2, Episode 2. So, excuse me, let's talk about Bill and Bree. Bill and Bree, it's still her birthday party, and remember her mom sort of got snippy with Bill's ex-wife, and Bree was like, oh my goodness, mom, like, so Bree went to go talk to her mother. And she told her, she said, listen, Ma, I appreciate it. I know you love me. I know you always have my back. But I got to deal with these people. Like, you can get nasty and cuss this woman out. And then don't nobody, nobody sees you. And it's me dealing with these people. And they're going to take it out on me. Let me handle it. I got it. I'm good. I love you. Thank you so much for having my back. Now, on the flip side, you've got Kathleen walking around the whole party talking about how nasty this woman was to her and how horrible what she said and how nasty what she said. And I'm like, but let's not forget why her mother came for you. And let's be clear, her mother wasn't wrong. The comment was, isn't she beautiful? And her mother said, on the outside. I think she was being nice, saying on the outside. Personally, but nobody asked me. So Bree went to try to apologize for her mom, right? She went to Kathleen to try to be nice and try to apologize for her mom. And Kathleen started being nasty, talking about something, well, it doesn't matter. I'm never going to see her again. And, that was just rude and uncouth. And, I know that your mother doesn't know how to act in high-class society. And see, that's when it would have been a fight. Because that's when I would have punched the shit out of her. And that might have been the last night me and Bill was together. Because I have a problem with the fact that Bill is so concerned about being on Kathleen's good side. First of all, that is your ex-wife. Yes, she is the mother of your children. But your children are grown. They are good and grown. They are like in their 30s grown. Kathleen has no reason to be a part of your life anymore. Period. But whatever. So later on in the episode, Bill and Bree sort of have a conversation, and Bill is defending Kathleen, and Bree was like, see, and she told him how the whole thing went down, how she went and talked to her mom, but then when she tried to go to Kathleen and apologize, how Kathleen got nasty with her, and Bill is still defending Kathleen. See, I don't like that. I don't know what the situation is, and I don't like it, but I don't know, but I don't like it. Okay. Katie and Kevin. This is a new couple, okay? This is a new couple. Now, Katie grew up in foster care. She was adopted. Looks like she comes from a mixed family, meaning, I think she said it was 7 brothers and sisters. Only one was the biological child of her 2 parents. The rest of them were adopted. It looked like there was some black kids, some white kids. I'm here for it. Cool. Natalie, she was a hostess. She was a Instagram model. But she sort of quit that job because she was taking care of her dad or something like that. Now, I'm not clear. When she said quit that job, but she's taking care of her dad, I'm not sure what job she has now. But I guess that's not what she's doing anymore. Okay. Then Kevin. Kevin is worth $40 to $50 million. Kevin is young. And he's in software development, entrepreneurship, that kind of thing. They met at a conference that he was speaking at. He was speaking at an entrepreneur type situation, and that's how they met. We see her have a conversation with Natalie, and Natalie is talking about how much, now they've been dating for 9 months, and Natalie is talking about how much, telling Katie how she ain't really crazy about Kevin. She don't see it for Kevin. She don't understand, what Katie sees in Kevin. And she was like, he see that you sitting here struggling and he don't do nothing for you. He don't help you out. He don't help you. You taking care of your father. You taking care of your family. And, he's worth all of this money, but he can't help you. Now, at first, I was like, well, that ain't really his job. Just because you're dating somebody with money does not de facto mean that they are now responsible for all of your bills. Especially if y'all only been dating for 9 months. Like, your problems do not become his problem just because he got money and y'all are dating. So at first I was like, okay, come on, Natalie. Like, I think you're doing too much. I think you're expecting a little too much. Okay. Then we flip over to Kevin, and Kevin starts talking about how frugal he is. Now he's got this nice house on overlooking the water in San Diego. So he said, my house is worth a lot of money. I splurged on, and he's got this Lamborghini that he just splurged on. But other than that, he was like, I really don't spend a whole lot of money. I live very frugally. I grew up lower middle class, and I just respect the dollar, and I just don't go around here throwing my money around. And I was like, okay, so that's the setup. I was like, that's the setup. And I can respect that. Before I go any further, let me be clear. I can respect that you are not out here throwing your money around. I can respect that. So the two of them meet up for dinner. First of all, I thought it was interesting that they've been dating for 9 months and they met for dinner. I was like, damn, he ain't even gonna pick her up. But I said, well, maybe maybe she's leaving from work or she had something else to do and it was easier for them to meet somewhere. Okay, whatever. They get there, they're having dinner, whatever. And he starts talking about how he feels like Katie has a lack of direction. She has a lack of ambition. He's saying how he has to be very careful when he's dating women, that they're not just out for his money. I respect all of that. And I do think when you have money, especially when you're young, you do have to be very cautious about who's hanging out with you for the right reasons. Again, I'm with you, Kevin. I'm with you. I was with Kevin until the bill came. And he said, so we splitting this? Again, when it comes to dating these days, I am not saying that I think the man should always pay. I'm not saying that. But I do feel like if I'm dating someone and I'm a millionaire worth 40, 50 million dollars and my girlfriend don't even have a job or is struggling and taking care of her family, I think I could pick up the check. And it wasn't like they were at one of these restaurants, they weren't at the Del Marco or something like that where the appetizer is $40. It did look like they were at a nice restaurant, but I don't think the check was more than maybe $100, $150. Okay? If that, because she got crabs. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But they was in San Diego, so, again, you on the water. It ain't like you spending... I was just like... And you could see the look on her face, like... Now, I do think part of this was for the purposes of the camera, so that we would know how frugal he was. But she clearly did not look like she expected to pay for dinner. And she literally threw her credit card at him. And it was like he couldn't read the room. Or he didn't care. Because, again, I have to say, your girlfriend is struggling. And I could even see if she was just out here doing nothing. She's taking care of her father. Child, I don't know. I don't like Kevin. Because I just don't like the way that whole thing went down. Again, nobody is obligated to take care of anybody. But I just don't like the way it went down. I don't like it. It ain't sit right in my spirit, y'all. So then we have Erica and Rick. Now listen. They live in Miami. Erica is a Instagram model, influencer, yada, yada, yada. Rick is, he has old family money. His family, he's like 4th generation jewelry owner out of Connecticut, but he lives in Miami now. But he inherited the family business. There is a 46-year age difference between Erica and Rick. I'm going to say that one more time. 46. Hell, Rick is 19 years older, 18 years older than Erica's daddy. Rick lives on the yacht down in the marina down in Miami, and the two of them are together. She said, I've always liked older men. I don't know what it is about me and older men. That's just always been my thing. See, there's older men, and then there's what you got going on. That's all. That deserves its own category. That's not older man. That deserves its own category. Okay? But they're there. She's in Springfield, Illinois. Now, y'all people from Chicago help a sister out. I thought Springfield was the capital. Isn't Springfield the capital of Illinois? But they kept talking about Springfield was like this small little podunk town that if you blink, you'll miss it. And so are there two Springfields in Chicago? I mean, in Illinois? Or is Springfield just, I mean, because I know just because it's a capital city doesn't mean it's a big city, but I mean, the way they was talking, like, you might see somebody riding a horse down the middle of the street. They was talking about Springfield. Y'all let me know. I don't know. But either way, she wants Rick to meet her family. So Rick comes up and, you know, Daddy ain't here for it. He ain't feeling it. He ain't here for it. He don't understand it. He don't, you know, and at the end of the day, Daddy know what it is. And I think Erica know what it is. And so does Rick. And I think everybody, Rick and Erica are happy with their situation. And unfortunately, Daddy, you just going to have to deal with it because Rick ain't no dummy. This ain't his first rodeo. He know what it is. Erica is living la vida loca. She is living the good life until the good life run out. I hope you're saving some money on the side. That's all I'm going to say about that. And so, you know, the whole thing is about him meeting the father. Now, we never, you know, of course, that's going to be the next episode. We ain't actually see them meet up yet. But it's a mess. I wish my child would come home with somebody I wish my child would be dating somebody 18 years older than me. Like, you old enough to be my daddy. Moving on. Last but not least, child, we got Rodney and Desiree. Listen. First of all, anybody who does not know, who's not in the area, don't live in the DC area, Rodney has a thick DC accent. When he talks, you know Rodney is from DC. Okay? That is a thick DC accent that Mr. Rodney has. That's first of all. Second of all, so Rodney had his assistant come over because remember that was in his mind, he thought that was going to pacify her. Well, you can't meet my mom and my dad and my friends, but you can meet my damn assistant. So the assistant shows up and the assistant got an attitude because the assistant is just like, well, I mean, Rodney, you know, Desiree is just a little, you know, she's just sort of crass and she's this and she's that. And, you know, I think she's just out for his money and this, and this. And Desiree was like, so she asked the assistant, she said, you don't think it's kind of weird that I've never met his family? We've been dating for 2 years and I've never met his family. And Rodney kept going back to, well, if you move here. And she was like, ain't nobody moving here. And I'm not even good enough to meet your family. Why would I move all the way across the country? And listen, I'm with Desiree on this one. I wish I would move all the way across the country to be with a man who won't even introduce me to his family. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So then Rodney was just like, then the assistant was like, well, I mean, Rodney can't be introducing his flavor of the week. Flavor of the what? First of all, we've been dating for 2 years. I'm not flavor of nothing. I'm his woman. We've been together for 2 years. Flavor of the what? And I think that was sort of the last straw for her. At that point, Desiree started packing to leave. Now, I don't know if her flight was already supposed to be leaving or she left early. I couldn't tell. But Rodney was just like, well, come on. Why you can't? Well, I don't understand what the problem is. What you mad about? When you coming back? You coming back? And Desiree said, I will not be back until you're ready to introduce me to your family. That's that. She said, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of you. What you did today was embarrassing. It was disrespectful. It was rude. And it was all of the above. And honey, she got to huffing and puffing and left up out that house. Now listen, this how you know when a person really don't care. Because baby Rodney sat his ass on that porch and said, don't go. Well, don't leave like this. He ain't stepped 1 foot off that porch. Look, the car was waiting for her. He ain't stepped 1 foot off that porch. He did not step not 1 foot off that porch to try to help her. Not one. I said, well, listen. Sometimes you just got to read the tea leaves, boo. You gotta read the tea leaves, Desiree. Now listen, I think Desiree got some shit with her too, but I'm with Rodney on this one. Ain't nobody moving across the country and you can't even introduce me to your family. Now I can see if y'all was dating for 2 years and y'all, you know, at a certain point when you're in a long distance relationship, somebody has to be willing to move. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day about long distance relationships, and I was like, when you get into a long distance relationship, you have to know going in that at a certain point, somebody going, if it's going to work. At a certain point, one of us have to be willing to move. Like, so that's the thing. So at some point, somebody has to move. And since his business is really rooted in the DC area, it probably is going to have to be her. I mean, let's be clear. You run a nonprofit. You can't even pay your own bills. You can't even afford your bills. Oh, he threw that at her too. He talking about something. Well, if I stop paying your bills, then what you gonna do? Well, I'm sure 2 years ago she might not have been living as nice as she living now, but I'm sure that 2 years ago she was paying her bills. I'm sure that 2 years ago she was paying her bills. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, so moving to DC, I don't think it's her issue. I think moving to DC with no sort of ring on her finger, whether it be an engagement ring or not, and then not even having any type of relationship with her family, with your family. You want her to give up everything, all her friends, all her family, her job, everything, move across country, and then what, you going to leave her in that lake house down in St. Matthews, Maryland, St. Thomas, Maryland, wherever the fuck they are. I think it's St. Michael's. Anyway, that's what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.